This is an art collage novel video. I made this series so you guys can experience the story faster. The video will focus on the character's psychology, the images are for illustration purposes only. You demon! Mo Xiaochuan's entire body trembled. He hurriedly picked up the bottle and found some paste-like substance inside. Without a second thought, he started to apply it on his back and knees. He couldn't see his back, but the white bones on his knees were already exposed. When his hands touched the white bones, he couldn't help but feel a little scared. Fortunately, he couldn't feel his lower body, so even if his hands touched the bones, he didn't feel any pain. Eh? He suddenly let out a soft sound of surprise. After applying the medicinal paste, he began to feel his broken bones. Even his knees were growing back at a speed visible to the naked eye. They were actually about to recover. Spirit herb, this must be a spirit herb. Mo Xiaochuan was overjoyed. He immediately jumped up from the ground in joy. But soon, he was shocked and his heart turned cold, because he saw Feiyang's mocking eyes and the incense on the ground that had just finished burning. Gulp. Mo Xiaochuan swallowed his saliva and said in embarrassment, "Can you let me eat something? I don't have any energy left." "I don't have much time to spend with trash like you," Feiyang said coldly. "Go into the cave and see if there are any poisonous mushrooms or other things that can satisfy your hunger. Maybe there are poisonous snakes or bats that you can catch and eat." Mo Xiaochuan's eyes were filled with despair as he pleaded, "I beg you, please don't let me in. This is the Mo family's death zone. No one has ever been able to come out alive. Some clan members who had been sentenced to death were sent to this cave. If they could come out, they would be exonerated from all their crimes and would be forgiven. However, I've never heard of anyone who could come out in my life." Feiyang scorned, "Your entire life? Only a few years? If you continue to be so long-winded, I'll cut off your flesh." Mo Xiaochuan backed away in fear and said bitterly, "All right, but at least give me a sword. I can protect myself if I encounter a venomous snake or something." "Yes." Only then did Feiyang agree readily. He grabbed at the air casually, and dozens of stones in the distance exploded with a bang. More than 10 rays of light gathered in his hand. Mo Xiaochuan's eyes widened as he looked over. He saw a ball of white liquid continuously condensing above the man's palm. It quickly became smaller and smaller until it finally condensed into the shape of a sword. Feiyang flicked his finger lightly and the sword stabbed right into Mo Xiaochuan's feet, causing him to retreat in fear. Mo Xiaochuan collected himself and pointed at the sword. "You made this on the spot? This is just an ordinary iron sword, not even a profound level weapon. How can I use it to kill the enemy? Trash like you are only fit to use trash swords like this," Feiyang said coldly. "I won't give you this sword if you say one more word." Mo Xiaochuan knew that this person was a pervert. He hurriedly covered his mouth and used his other hand to pull the sword from the ground with great effort. However, he realized that it was not as heavy as he had imagined it to be. He couldn't have cut corners in this sword, right? Otherwise, how could it be so light? Forget it, it's better than nothing. After Mo Xiaochuan applied the paste-like medicine to his wounds, he realized that his strength was starting to recover. He picked up his iron sword and waved it around a few times. "Since that's the case, I'll go in. Will you be following me and protecting me at all times?" Feiyang frowned and looked at him coldly. "What do you think?" "Well, I definitely won't. Then I'll go in. I hope I can come out alive. When that time comes, you must teach me martial arts." Mo Xiaochuan said very seriously. His pair of pure and flawless eyes looked straight at Feiyang without the slightest hint of fear. Feiyang's heart moved, as if he was touched by his innocence, persistence, and courage. However, he still put on an indifferent expression and snorted, "We'll talk about it after you come out alive." His figure flickered and disappeared from Mo Xiaochuan's sight. Mo Xiaochuan knew how powerful Feiyang was. Although he had disappeared, he was definitely hiding somewhere and keeping an eye on him. If Mo Xiaochuan took the opportunity to escape, Feiyang would not let him off. When he thought of this, he could only brace himself and raise his iron sword. He continuously gave himself courage and walked into the god-eliminating cave. His star-like eyes watched the weak figure disappear into the cave. He sighed and muttered to himself, although your aptitude is mediocre, you have a quality that others don't have. I wonder if the heavens are willing to give you a good fortune? If you can come out, I will take you to the peak of this world. Mo Xiaochuan snapped out of his thoughts from the ethereal youth and a pure smile appeared at the corner of his lips. He was grateful from the bottom of his heart as he muttered to himself, I'm so grateful. Thank you, Master. On this road to the peak, I've always followed your back, never stopping. I want to learn your sword scripture, the few moves that you used against the ancestor. Please teach me. No need, those few moves are sword essence I created myself, you might not be suitable. The blood of the Mo family in Black Iron City flows in your body, so the 1,000 feet noble technique is more suitable for you. But, your sword technique is even more powerful than the 1,000 feet noble technique. Idiot. There are no more powerful sword scriptures in this world, only more powerful people. Mo Xiaochuan's eyes gleamed as all the energy in his body was released and gathered in his sword. Master, I'll show you my full strength. I'll show you that the young man who kneeled under the shadow of the moon in Black Iron City has grown into a powerful man of his generation. Heaven-destroying devil-rinsing sword, break. Mo Xiaochuan shouted, and the sword in his hand buzzed under the guidance of the sword spell. Under the 1,000 cricket vast technique, the sword swept in all directions, invincible against anyone who blocked it. No. How is this possible? Elder Chiu, who was in his own domain, watched in horror as the sword qi that filled the sky broke through the rules formed by the Emperor Qi. The shadow of the swaying ancient tree flickered continuously before finally disappearing. He widened his eyes in fear. His eyes were filled with sword qi and he could no longer see anything. He watched in despair as he was swallowed alive. Boom boom boom. An earth-shattering sound rang out, and the entire Songnui city collapsed under the might of that sword. The sword qi and the 1,000 hands and 1,000 leaves palm collided, and the aftershock spread out in all directions. All kinds of buildings collapsed one after another, which lasted for half a cup of tea's time. Elder Chiu's original position was already gone, not even a human scum was left. Silence, silence, deathly silence. Everyone was dumbfounded. It was hard for them to think. The sword attack had completely shocked their souls. They stopped thinking and even forgot their existence. Only the wind after the shockwave was still blowing. Very good. That was the sword's life, the sword's breath. You let me hear the joy of this Tiandang demon-slaying sword. At that moment, I couldn't even tell if the sword was you or if you had transformed into the sword. That feeling made my blood boil. A word of praise and a comment came out of Yunxiao's mouth, immediately breaking the dead silence. Everyone regained their senses, but their bodies were already deeply engraved with fear under the power of the sword just now. They only felt that their bodies were extremely stiff. Life of the sword. Upon hearing Yunxiao's praise, Mo Xiaochuan's nervous face finally looked relieved, and he smiled with relief. To be able to receive your praise, every single one of those tens of millions of sword strikes I've made over the years has its worth. After a brief moment of relief, Mo Xiaochuan was shocked as well. He thought carefully about Yunxiao's words and seemed to have understood something. Your Tiandang demon-shaking sword is a peak 9th tier artifact, Yunxiao said with a smile. It is not only an artifact, but also a spirit, will, and Tao. Mo Xiaochuan's body trembled slightly as if he had comprehended something. His eyes were filled with joy and he could vaguely feel a bright light flashing in his body, illuminating the dark night ahead and extending the path into the distance. That sword was the glorious 1,000 feet technique. Is that the glorious 1,000 feet technique of the Mo family in Black Iron City? It's so terrifying. Li Feiyu's eyes widened as he asked in a daze. The Mo family of Black Iron City? Ren Guangzheng was shocked and cried out, Arg. The heavenly spirit devil-quelling sword, 1,000 spirit Howren art. It was the most precious treasure of the Mo family in Black Iron City. How could it be with this man? Who is he? Su Donha's heart trembled and she said angrily, Black Iron City. Who are you in Black Iron City? The Empyrean One Pavilion and Black Iron City have never interfered with each other. They even have business dealings. Why did you kill my people? Her face turned unsightly. The death of an elder was a great loss to the Empyrean One Pavilion. It was almost a matter that would shake the foundation of the pavilion. She gritted her teeth and said angrily, It seems like you owe me an explanation for what happened just now. After the sword strike, Mo Xiaochuan seemed to have gained more insight in swordsmanship thanks to Yunxiao's slight guidance. He had a vague feeling that he was about to make a breakthrough, and he could not help but be overjoyed. Yunxiao's words rang in his ears again, 10,000 techniques as one, man and sword become old. Finally, the barrier in Mo Xiaochuan's heart opened up as he was shocked by the number. A rainbow fell from the sky and shone on his body. Rule force surged around him and entered his body. Martial Supreme Advancement. Everyone was shocked and looked at each other in horror. The advancement of a Martial Supreme was extraordinary. Every star could draw upon the power of heaven and earth and the rules of the world. He had not expected Mo Xiaochuan to break through just like that after one sword strike. At this moment, everyone had mixed feelings as they looked at Mo Xiaochuan, who was shining brightly. They all had their own thoughts, but basically, apart from the people of Tianyuan Trading Company, the rest of them had solemn and gloomy expressions. Congratulations, senior brother. Young Emperor Haolian was the first to offer his congratulations, followed by Ding Ling and Luo Yunxiang. Then, Tianyuan Trading Company and its affiliated trading companies also congratulated him one after another. Everyone was overjoyed. A battle of life and death between the two sects had suddenly become a one-sided celebration. Su Donha looked at the other party's one-sided celebration. One of them advanced to the rank of a martial supreme, while an elder on her side died, shaking the foundation of the Chamber of Commerce. She was so angry that she almost fainted on the spot. Su Donha's hair started to turn golden, which was a sign of the overflowing emperor qi. She almost couldn't control her emotions, but she had to, because she was the great elder of the Empyrean One Pavilion, and the Empyrean One Pavilion couldn't afford to offend the Black Iron City. She gritted her teeth so hard that they were bleeding, and said word by word, People in Black Iron City, Empyrean One Pavilion has a good business relationship with you. You should give me an explanation. Mo Xiaochuan was in a good mood, but when he heard Su Donha's words, his face immediately darkened. He snorted coldly and said, Explanation? Then Black Iron City will cut off all business with you. What explanation do you need? You coward. Su Donha was so angry that her eyes almost popped out of their sockets. Not only did she lose a martial emperor elder from her side, but she also scared the surrounding martial artists out of their fighting spirit and courage. She had come here to show off her power, but her opponent had killed 2 of her men without leaving a corpse. She was so angry that she was on the verge of going berserk. However, she still used the last bit of her rationality to suppress her emotions. She bit the corner of her mouth so hard that it bled. Tell me, what benefits has Tianyuan Trading Company offered your Black Iron City? No matter what the condition is, we will double it as long as you don't interfere in today's matter. She endured it again and again. Other than Mo Xiaochuan's identity as a member of Black Iron City, there was also the Tiangang demon-shaking sword, which was the clan treasure of Black Iron City. The person before her was definitely of high status in Black Iron City and was most likely a core existence. If he killed this man, the Empyrean One Pavilion wouldn't be able to handle the revenge of Black Iron City. Therefore, even though she was seething with anger at the moment and Empyrean One Pavilion had lost face after 2 waves of provocation, she still had to endure it. Mo Xiaochuan replied indifferently, There's nothing good about it. If there's any benefit to it, it's that I'll use the head of your Empyrean One Pavilion's elder to practice my sword. You want to give me double the conditions? That's good. Call out 2 more elders to chop off their heads and I might be interested in working with you. Pfft. Su Donha was so angry that she spat out a mouthful of blood on the spot. She instantly rose from the throne and struck out with her palm without saying a word. Who couldn't endure it? His words were already provocative to this extent. If she continued to endure, what was the difference between her and the ninja turtle? Even if he would offend Black Iron City, even if she had to start a full-scale war with Black Iron City, she would not hesitate. Su Donha was a few levels higher than Mo Xiaochuan. Moreover, she was completely enraged and unleashed 120% of her strength. With a single palm strike, the entire earth was enveloped in it. It was as if the sky had collapsed and the sun and moon had lost their light. The people of Tianyuan Trading Company kept quiet out of fear, waiting for death in despair. Even Mo Xiaochuan and Li Yunxiao Huang were shocked. They hurriedly stood in front of Yunxiao, one on the left and the other on the right, one holding a long sword in the air and the other clenching his fists. The determination on their faces still showed that they would not back down even if they died. Elder Su, why are you getting angry with these juniors? It's not good for your status. An indifferent voice sounded, giving off a lazy and cold feeling, without the slightest hint of life. In front of Su Donha's palm shadow, a figure suddenly appeared. He also turned his hand and slapped out with the same domineering force. When the two palm forces collided, a dull sound was heard in the sky, which was no less than the collision of the profound level weapons. The surrounding people's blood and chi were in turmoil. Just the sound waves of the palm power were enough to make them tremble. Some of the martial artists with lower cultivation base even bled from their 7 orifices and vomited large mouthfuls of blood from the injuries. In a true peak confrontation, a single palm was already so terrifying. The people who were still under the influence of Mo Xiaochuan's sword felt a sense of hopelessness in their hearts. They were like frogs at the bottom of a well who were shocked and stunned when they saw the vast sky. A terrifying black hole appeared between the two palm forces. It continued to expand rapidly, as if it was going to devour the entire space. Zhang Chong, it's you. What? Su Donha was shocked and angry. Is the money sect also tied to Tianyuan Trading Company? We're all businessmen, how could Elder Su say such stupid things? Zhang Chong chuckled. There are no eternal enemies in this world, only eternal interests. Damn it. Su Donha's eyes were spitting fire as she roared, I'd like to see what kind of benefits Money Sect and Tianyuan Trading Company can offer. You're even willing to wage an all-out war with my Empyrean One Pavilion. She was already a little dizzy, and the Emperor Chi in her hand grew even stronger. She gritted her teeth and exerted 200% of her strength, almost wanting to blow up the entire Songyueyang city, regardless of the consequences. With the 4 extreme sect, can we fight against your Empyrean One Pavilion? Someone sighed. In that huge energy storm, someone actually tore open the black hole and forcefully opened a crack. A foot stepped out from it. The silver armor on the man's body flickered continuously, and he forced a path through the two's palm power. An ancient and simple tower flew out of his right hand, and he used an incantation gesture to stamp it down into the sky. The tower instantly turned into a pillar that held up the sky. It expanded above the entire Songyueyang city and fell into the palm energy of Su Donha and Zhang Chong. Boom boom boom. With a dull sound, the earth shook as if the sky was falling and the earth was sinking. In the myriad treasure towers encampment in the distance, everyone's faces changed in shock. Cui Bo's eyes turned sharp, as if he could see through the layers of the sky and see everything in the distance. Elder Xian's concerns have come true. I'm afraid the Empyrean One Pavilion will have to go against us this time. His gaze fell on the tall tower in the distance, and his eyes were filled with complex emotions and shock. Di Shenghua was also shocked as he said, the 4 extreme sects heaven-suppressing pagoda. This treasure has always been in the hands of the vice sect master of the 4 extreme sect. Could have gone to. Cui Bo mumbled, this heaven-suppressing pagoda is an item passed down from ancient times. It's said to be a replica of an extremely powerful transcendent grade profound level weapon. Although it's a defensive item, it's close to the peak of the 9th tier. What's more terrifying is that Luo Ying can almost exert 70% to 80% of its power, and he has become a peak figure in the Merchant Union. A replica of a transcendent grade profound weapon? Di Shenghua asked in shock. Isn't Noah's ship the only transcendent-grade mystic weapon? Cui Bo shook his head. That was after humans took control of the continent. There were still many powerful beings before that. Even transcendent-grade profound-level weapons were rare. However, what did Tianyuan Trading Company rely on to invite Luoying to hold the fort for them? What do you think, Elder Xian? The shock in Xian Yutong's eyes disappeared in a flash and he returned to his emotionless appearance. He said indifferently, I'm guessing that there's information we're lacking. This news was known by the Four Extremes sect and Money sect, which was why they stepped forward at this time. Otherwise, with Tianyuan Trading Company's current foundation, there's really nothing that these two companies would take a fancy to. You're right. What is the information we are missing? Cui Bo thought for a moment and said in surprise, do you think it's possible that Tianyuan Trading Company has promised to be loyal to them, so they invited strong reinforcements? Xian Yutong was stunned for a moment, then his eyes flashed and he said, we can't rule out this possibility. But with my understanding of Ding Ling, she would never do that, unless it was Li Yunxiao's idea. After all, it's normal for a girl to give everything she has if she meets a good man. Oh. Elder Xian, do you mean that Li Yunxiao is the real controller of Tianyuan Trading Company now? Di Shenghua paced back and forth and said, that's possible. Can we find a way to control this Li Yunxiao? Wouldn't that mean that Tianyuan Trading Company will be under the control of Myriad Treasures Tower? Di Shenghua seemed to think that this was a brilliant idea. The more he thought about it, the more excited he became. That Li Yunxiao is just a native of the southern region, and he has never seen much of the world. It shouldn't be difficult to control him. Cui Bo poured cold water on him and snorted. Elder Di, you're really naive. A person who can control the Tianyuan Trading Company and get the Four Extremes sect and the Money sect to join him is not as simple as you think. Our top priority now is to find out what the Four Extremes sect and Money sect know, and what we don't know. Since Yunxiao entered Songyue City, Jihua has been in charge of monitoring him, Xian Yutong said. Perhaps he has already gotten some information. Oh, since it's a swift fire? How could such a native arrange for him to go? Who made the arrangement? But you're very observant, Cui Bo cried out. This Li Yunxiao is indeed different. Call Jihua to see me. Xian Yutong's eyes narrowed as he looked at the distant sky. The yellow expression on his face seemed to be moved as he muttered to himself, but no one could hear what he was saying. The Tianyuan Trading Company was stationed in the sky. The heaven-suppressing pagoda stood upright and pressed down. At the entrance of the pagoda, a strong suction force was drawn out, directly sucking the surrounding space, including the black hole created by Su Danhe and Zhang Cheng's palm force, into the pagoda. Su Danhe's and Zhang Cheng's expressions changed drastically. After the two of them struck out with their palms again, they were forced back from each other and fell down. Yunxiao's pupils constricted as he trembled when he saw the tower. He had heard of the heaven-suppressing pagoda in the Merchant Union, but this was the first time he had seen it. What shocked him the most was that this heaven-suppressing pagoda was exactly the same as the one he had seen in the outer space, the one that suppressed Dijia. The only difference was that the aura exuded by this heaven-suppressing pagoda was not as terrifying as Dijia's ancient pagoda, and it looked much newer. Could it be an imitation? We must find out the origin of this heaven-suppressing pagoda. Yunxiao thought to himself. After settling the dispute between the two, Luoying retracted his silver armor and the heaven-suppressing pagoda shrunk rapidly, landing in his palm and being absorbed into his body.